My name's Alabanza. I live in London. I'm a performance artist and a writer. Sometimes I stand by the edge of where the ocean meets the beach and look out onto the sea so I can feel like something that does not have an end. And I often get asked what my gender feels like, and I want to say it is more what I wish it could feel like. I wish it could feel like this moment. Like it does not have a beginning or an end, that you cannot see where it starts or stops, that it just continues to exist or not exist, that is a vast space of nothingness in one wave and holds so much in the next, that it is like the moment where the sea feels endless. Sometimes I stand by the edge of where the ocean meets the beach and look out onto the sea so I can feel like something that does not have an end. And cisgender people often ask me what my gender feels like, and it never really allows me to say what my gender really is. My gender feels like something stopped halfway through, like a badly formatted tape to CD conversion, missing full potential, the second character on a video game without levels, no up or down. It feels like an unfinished, like a body of water, potential to do so much yet eventually bottled. And sometimes I stand by the edge of where the ocean meets the beach and look out onto the sea that looks out over my gender, that pours out over my body, and it makes me feel like nothing. That piece is called The Sea. It's from my poetry book that I released last year called Before I Step Outside, You Love Me. And I think it's one of the most tranquil pieces of writing in the book. I think the book is full of a lot of violence, and a lot of talking about violence, and a lot of putting violence very forefront on the page. And I wanted from the sea to create a piece of work that would make me feel how I feel when I'm by the sea reading it. Because this book was written all on public transport whilst I was being harassed, or before being harassed, or being looked at. And I wanted something that I could read back to myself and feel calm. And I think the sea physically does that, like the actual sea does that to me, but also this piece was kind of about feeling calmness in my lack of understanding of my gender. I think that so often we expect trans people, particularly trans people that are in public light, to have all the answers, to know everything about themselves, to have figured it all out, that we come out as trans and suddenly we know every single thing about ourselves and aren't changing and growing and changing our minds. It has to be so definitive. And I wanted to create a piece that felt always changing, like the sea and the ocean. Also, real talk, there's like hundreds of poems about the sea in a canon, and I just wanted to like say that I'd written one about the sea too. Today I made a very gourmet beans on toast with finely grated cheese on top. And what went into it was 1 can of Heinz baked beans, some grated cheddar cheese, some salt and pepper, some Hovis brown bread, and some butter. The reason I made beans on toast is like, one, the most important reason is I can't cook. I feel like coming out as someone that can't cook was far scarier than me than coming out as queer, no, I joke. But for me, beans on toast was something that I ate every day for 2 years when I was at a really trying part of my life, and I was just moved to London, was in a university that I never finished and dropped out of, and was in a really bad place mentally, and it was a consistent and constant, the only consistent and constant thing about my life. So at first I was like really like etching over like what to cook, like trying to get some fancy recipes, trying to get something that would look really appeasing. So yeah, beans on toast. I think being of like mixed heritage, my family isn't really There's like lots of different racial and cultural makeups in my family, both African American, but also I have like long memories of Filipino cuisine from like the Filipino members of my family. Most of my family on my mum's side live in the States, so I would only see them maybe once every 2 years when I was younger, once every 3 years, and that time would be like a cultural catch-up to learn about this racialized side of my family that I don't see, that has all these different mixes. And I remember my great auntie going, "You know you're Filipino, right?" And I was like, "No, I just thought I was black." And they were like, "No, you're Filipino. And in the Philippines, we eat lumpia." And she took me out to have lumpia, and I remember that her face was with like anticipation to figure out if I was gonna like it. Side note, I love it. But it was nice that in that moment of eating lumpia, this new food for me that was so central to her, that there was a kind of unspoken cultural sharing. That maybe we could have sat down and spoken about the history of our Filipino family. We could have spoken about our great uncles, or we could have spoken about all these people, but instead we just shared some food. I think I would want to be told way sooner and way more plain, way more like straight to talking that you're a gift. In the sense, so often when we inhabit queer and trans body, we think that we're broken and need fixing. We're not broken, we realise, oh actually it's not wrong to be queer, and then we kind of stop there, it's fine. And I kind of want to go the other way and say that it's not just fine, it's fucking a gift. So much better than not being queer. And that's kind of what I wish I was told, that actually this thing that you will be punished for, this thing that you will be told is wrong, this thing that you will be told to hide, actually holds all the answers, actually is desirable, actually is vibrant and interesting and tender and nuanced. And actually, queers have created and continue to create so much of what we see today. And it's only because we're a gift that that's possible. So yeah, I think I would love to have been sat down, little old faggy me, and like not have this like kind of weird roundabout way of saying it. Like, oh, you know, it's not wrong to be queer. I just like someone to take me, look at me in the eye and go, "You're a fucking gift." And then that would be it.